So you're thinking about making a move to or within San Francisco, and you're looking for a neighborhood that flies under the radar. If that's the case, there's quite a few worth considering. The truth is that there's lots of little neighborhoods out there with a ton to offer. So whether you're looking for a hidden gem with a view, a single family home in a more affordable price point, or maybe you're looking for a neighborhood that feels a little more like Marin, I'm going to show you some options. I've lived in the Bay Area for over 20 years, and I founded one of the top producing real estate teams in the entire city. Together, we've sold over $1 billion in real estate, and we sell a home or two every week. So as you can imagine, those sales take us to a wide variety of neighborhoods around San Francisco. If you have a few hidden gem neighborhoods that I didn't mention, please drop it in the comments below. I'd love to cover it in a future video. I'm going to start with a hidden gem neighborhood which has the best views. Clarendon Heights has some of the best and biggest views of the city and the Bay. It's a secluded neighborhood with zero through traffic. The majority of cars that go through the neighborhood are going home. It feels a little bit like a suburb, but it's located right in the center of the city. Due to its central location, you can be almost anywhere in the city quickly in a car, but if you need to venture out on foot or take public transportation, you're in for a bit of a disappointment. The housing stock here is largely two-story, contemporary, and mid-century homes that are terraced into the side of Mount Sutro. Due to the topography, the yard space in the neighborhood is lacking in many homes, but you can find some decks. The reality is that you actually may not be outside that much because the weather there is actually quite foggy. However, I do find that the yard space is actually a limiting factor for many of my buyers who have young children and really want that yard space. A good price point for a home in this area is between about the $3 and $5 million price point, but there are homes that sell above that price. And in one case, a few years ago, there was one for $17 million. The next most walkable hidden gem on my list is Duboce Triangle. Duboce Triangle is this little neighborhood right here. It's a very small neighborhood in the center of the city. And when it comes to weather, walkability, and public transit, it doesn't get any better than Duboce Triangle. It may or may not be a neighborhood that you've ever heard of because it's quite small and there are not that many sales there each year. The walkable streets for Duboce Triangle do not belong to it, but you can walk out your door in a few blocks in one direction. You can find yourself in the Castro, you can find yourself in the Lower Haight, take a few more steps and you can be in the Mission, and even in Hayes Valley, or even the DeViz corridor. With 5 different neighborhood walkable strips to choose from, you're never gonna run out of restaurants, coffee shops, and shopping. Additionally, there's a BART station in the Castro, and there's a Muni that runs right down Market Street. I love Duboce Triangle, and I actually happen to own a little micro house there on the park, which we rent out. The streets are tree-lined, they feel super special, though it's in the center of everything. Several of the smaller streets in the area feel really residential and quiet. One of my favorites is Henry Street. There are single-family homes in the neighborhood, but they don't turn over very often. Last year, there were only 3 that sold, and there were only 15 condo sales. Prices on a price per square foot basis are pretty similar to Noe and Eureka Valley, but most of the single-family homes are smaller, so they end up being a little cheaper. You can score a condo there for about 1.5 to $2 million for a 2-bedroom, while a single-family home is about 2.5 to 3.5 million. Next, we're gonna move to an area with the most tree-lined streets, and it feels a lot like Marin. Forest Hill is another neighborhood where you don't really feel like you're in the city. There are so many trees in this neighborhood, and when you drive down the streets, you're surrounded by gorgeous homes. There's a little section up here on Edgewood that has ocean views, and honestly, I swear to God, you're gonna think you're in Marin. The housing stock here is mostly a mix of early 1900 homes with tons of period details and really great scale. But there are some mid-century modern homes as well as some newly constructed homes mixed in. Most of the streets feel really wide and super well maintained and manicured, but there's a few that branch off in really strange ways and feel a little bit claustrophobic. Depending on where you are in Forest Hill, you could easily walk down to the Inner Sunset, which is here, or you can walk over to West Portal. Forest Hill also has its own Muni line. The neighborhood itself is super residential, really with none of its own restaurants or shops. And since the neighborhood is in the fog belt and it's not walkable, money in this area of town does tend to go a little bit further on a price per square foot basis. But the houses are really good size. They're usually about 2,500 to 4,000 square feet. So that actually makes the price go up a bit higher. A good price point for this neighborhood is going to be between $2.8 and $3.8 million. The next neighborhood has the widest streets with the lowest price point on my list. And knowing what I know now, I wish I would have bought an investment house in this neighborhood. In 2017, I bought an investment property in San Francisco. At the time, I really couldn't afford a single family home. And so I bought the best thing I could afford in the best location, which was a condo. Like most condos, even though it is in a great neighborhood, it has not appreciated very well and it barely cash flows. If you've talked to me recently about buying a condo as an investment property, I probably talked you out of it. A few months later, I got a call for a listing in a neighborhood called Pine Lake. I had never been there. When I went to the house, I was filled with regret for not buying a single family home in this area instead of a condo. Keep in mind, at this point, I had actually been selling a lot of real estate for about 8 years, and I had never been to the neighborhood. I sold a lot of homes in many surrounding areas, but not in this one. So it's around here. The streets are really wide and the houses are detached and they have really large setbacks and the lawns are well manicured and the streets are flat. It's super walkable to West Portal. You've also got Stern Grove really close by. My client who grew up in the neighborhood actually walked to Lowell High School from home, and it's also super close to Stonestown, which quite honestly has come a long way in the last 5 years. They have a new movie theater, they have a new Whole Foods, like super nice. Most of the homes there were built around the 1930s, which is a period of homes that I really like because they were built super well. The area is in the fog belt for sure, and some consider it a bit far out. In traffic, it's gonna take about 40 minutes downtown by car, but you're also really close to the 280 if you need to get out of the city into the peninsula. There's only a handful of homes that come up in this area per year, but you can get a small home here around 12,000 square feet for $1 million to 1.3, or a larger, more done home for close to 1.7. Finally, we're gonna end with a neighborhood that you can get amazing views at an affordable price. It's hard to believe that there could be any neighborhood with an amazing view that nobody knows about, but I'd venture to guess that many people have not been to Golden Gate Heights. Golden Gate Heights sits on top of the inner Sunset, and it's a tiny little neighborhood with about 25 to 30 home sales per year. You're close to the action on 9th and Irving, but many people don't trek out on foot very often because there's a lot of hills up here. I still remember the first time in my early career when I went there to see a house with a buyer and had to look on a map to see how the heck could I see water from this location. About 70% of the homes in this area sell between $1.5 and $2 million, and the other 30% between $2 and $3 million, with a few outliers in the $3 to $6 million range from time to time. Buyers who move here generally move here for the views and the price point on the homes. You might be finding yourself with even more questions. To take a deeper dive into San Francisco neighborhoods, head on over to my neighborhood vlog playlist, which is linked in the description below. For more help finding the right neighborhood for you, reach out to us. We'd love to help, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss another video.